Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 1. Episode 1 of Simon Talks Life. In this episode, I unbox a box of Series 3 Kayou Transformers while talking about movies. How good is that, right? So, again, when I referenced in my introduction, I was talking about, I made reference to how subjective some of these opinions are. And I think there are a few things, I suppose, that might be considered more subjective than someone's taste in movies. Now, obviously, I realise objectively you can get good movies and bad movies. No worries at all. But if someone likes a movie that I'm not keen on, like it, for me, I don't want to keep saying it, but it is what it is, right? Like, that's cool, that's fine, I might reference movies in this video that I like, and some people don't like them. That's fine, that's cool. It's no worries at all. So, I might start by asking you, or anyone watching, if there are 3 movies you would like to have on a desert island. I know it's kind of a bit of a cliche what people say about that, right? If you could have 3 movies on a desert island, and obviously not considering the implications of or the ability to watch those movies, what would your 3 be, right? What would they be? Now, I know what my 3 would be, but if you feel like letting me know what yours would be, no worries at all. It's a good point for me to start this because most people are going to be aware of quite possibly one of my 3 right off the bat. I am going to open this during the video as well. Just so you can get a good look. I do have some card sleeves here, but I'm not going to sleeve most of these because I've already got many copies of them, as you know. But I'm going to go through the whole lot. We're just going to have a good ramble. So the 3 movies that I would want to have on a desert island with me, if should such a fate befall me, right? Now the first obviously is the 86 movie. Transformers the movie, 1986. This is already one of the special ones. Look, so I'm going to get mixed up with this, right? I'm going to get confused. Confused? Yeah, probably. Because if you know anything about Series 3, 5 of the 18 packs in here have a chance at something good. The other 13 packs are all the normal ones. Filled with all of the cards like these ones that I've already got. It is going to interrupt my train of thought when I get one of the special ones because I want to be focusing on that as well. So that's okay. Now, look at that. That's a BP. That's a BP of Cheetah. Now, I don't really know Cheetah, if I'm being honest. That's lovely though, isn't it? Crikey, look. First pack. Are you joking? Are you joking? That's not bad, is it really, though? I am going to sleeve it straight away. I will further protect it off screen, off camera, while we get back to the topic of... Look at that. I got a BP, the first pack. Ridiculous. The BP again, the case level hit. That's a lovely looking card. I don't have any inclination toward Cheetah. That's obviously, what's that? Does that say Maximals up the top there? Something like that. Beast Wars, I am guessing it is Maximals. Beast Wars, I'm guessing, but the BP is the case level hit. What a start. Welcome to Simon Talks Life episode 1. Pow, baby. Anyway. So that is lovely. Sorry. Anyway, getting back on track. The 3 movies I would have with me. The first one is the Transformers the movie 1986. I love so much about it, I really do. Anyone who's been watching my channel and obviously is well aware of my recent uploads with regards to adding sounds to the movie and all, you're going to obviously, someone doesn't do that unless they obviously very much like the movie. So the 86 is one for me. I could talk about the events in that movie all day, obviously, but I'm going to share with you my other two. Now, obviously, there have been plenty of great movies released over the years. My second movie of the three that I would want to have with me on a desert island, should that fate obviously befall me, is Aliens. 1986 Aliens. I mean, it's brilliant, really. It's brilliant. I mean, you know, the Marines, Sigourney Weaver obviously leading the crew, really, but the Marines, you know, Hudson, Hicks, Vasquez, you know, the banter between them, the things that happen. Aliens is a phenomenal movie. It is brilliant, really. So I would definitely want that to be one of the movies that I would have with me, should that be the case. One of the good things about Aliens, you know, and you know, it doesn't suffer from the, you know, excessive CGI, which is so prevalent in today's movies. You know, like I liked Marvel's MCU as much as the next guy, but they did, you know, when it came to sort of like Endgame, all of that kind of stuff, you know, it was absolutely CGI overload. But that's what's good about Aliens, is that it harks back to a time where it was all practical effects. And even though sometimes you can tell, obviously, the rubber suits kind of with the aliens look a bit sort of, you know, dated, you might say. In all other cases, the practical effects are, you know, you almost can't fake that, really. You know? So Aliens is definitely my number two. This is also one of the special cards, so excuse me while I get off on a tangent a little bit. Prowl. Okay. You've seen me pour a couple of copies of this card before. I do very much like it. I'm not big on the character of Prowl, if I'm being honest, but for me to have a BP in the same pack as I then get, if I can get that right up there, the CR, things are going well, people. They are really going well. Okay, now I have all of my sleeves upside down. That is very stupid. There we go. So Aliens is definitely, yeah, my number two. The use of practical effects as opposed to endless CGI makes Aliens, it's a must-have for me, really. It's just brilliant. But I mean, not just that, not just the practical effects. The story is brilliant. It's so well done. It's so well done. I really liked Jim Cameron, what he was doing, James Cameron, a lot more before, obviously, he's gotten involved in Avatar now. Doesn't really do a lot for me, if I'm being honest. It's not bad. I just wouldn't necessarily say there's a bar being set. And if there is a bar being set with regards to the likes of Avatar and all, it really is just, I suppose, in the quality of the 3D technology, all of that, which is a fad, and that stuff, that sort of thing is going to be dated. Do you think anyone is going to particularly be watching that from now, like in 200 years' time? Probably not, I'd say. This is also one of the special packs, so bear with me for a moment. I like the reveal. Okay, Bombshell. Now you know what, now you know I do have all of the URs for Series 3. I've had them all for some time. I will sleeve and put it to as one side. But James Cameron's earlier work, like Aliens, The Abyss, Terminator 2, honestly, he was, you know, that period of the 80s there, it was his decade, really. You know, superb, really. I'm not as keen as much on the likes of sort of Titanic and all that. Like, it was okay, but I could do without it. Anyway, so the third movie I would have one is not anyone. No one watching this right now is going to be able to guess what my third movie is. It's very much a change of pace, but I like it for a very different reason. It is The American President with Michael Douglas and Annette Bening. You know, some of you may have watched it, some of you may not have. You might not have any interest in it. You might like it, you might dislike it. It's fine. This is very much a personal preference. I do like the story, the movie very well. The chemistry between Michael Douglas and Annette Bening is spectacular. Really, I thought it was so well done, so very well done. You know, the story is great. He's the president. He's a widow, but he falls in love with obviously this political sort of activist kind of thing. You know, brilliant. I do recommend a watch. Might not be your cup of tea because you're probably getting the idea. It could be considered a romantic comedy. They're not usually my cup of tea, but I like it very much. I really do. It's been a favourite of mine. It's maintained that status quo throughout the years with me, really. That's not to say there aren't other movies I'm very fond of. Anyone who's like, I mean, I am one of those people. I will admit I'm one of those people who is. I do like the effects of today. I'll be honest. I like meaty sound effects, 5.1, 7.1 Atmos, all of that sort of stuff. Hence, obviously, my efforts at introducing other sounds into the '86 movie. As you know, the Transformers '86 movie. So I do like more modern effects, I'll be honest, but I would prefer more infrequent use of CGI and practical effects where possible. Not really so big on the use of CGI across the board. You know, elements of that sort of discussion I will sort of continue in other topics of this Simon Talks Life series. But those are my favourite three, they really are. This is also a UR I've got coming up here. I long since know them by sight. Big fan of the series, of this one. Scattershot, no worries. I have a few of those, I really do. I will sleeve and put him to one side. What I'm always going to do with Series 3 is line up the good cards over there. Oh, look at that. Really, what a start. I've only gotten one BP before, I tell you what. And it took me like 20 boxes to get it. Although, I'll be honest, it is one of those Cybertronian 11. I got there, Soundwave, one of my favourite cards. But again, because of my nostalgia for G1 and 86, that won't be one of my better cards, even if it pulls a 10, because I have no, Beast Laws was sort of after I grew up a bit, and I kind of, when it comes to Transformers, I went one way and Transformers went the other way a little bit. Well, I grew up, real life took over, I focused on other things. I've only really come back to Transformers more recently in my life. But that, again, is the sort of discussion I will table for later on, a different episode of this Simon Talks Life. I suppose we could talk a little bit, because I'm talking about movies. I could talk about the Transformers movies, the live action. I've spoken, you might say, disparagingly of live action movies throughout the Cybertronian jackpot chase, other comments I might have made in the past. When the Transformers movie, the 2007 movie aired, I was psyched, like absolutely. I was really excited for that. Obviously, the trailers were like, look at that, Bumblebee transforming. Elements of the fight scene were shown in trailers. I think it would be fair to say they were showing too much in the trailers, if I'm being honest. But it was all brilliant back then. It looked fabulous. And I didn't think the 2007 movie was really bad, if I'm being honest. I really didn't. It's good in its own right, really. But there were elements where it kind of, you could tell Michael Bay was starting you know, what Michael Bay is known for, you could tell he was starting to take over a little bit. You know, Bumblebee peeing on Agent Simmons, is it? You know, and things obviously went downhill from there. Revenge of the Fallen, what's Dark of the Moon, and then obviously Mark Wahlberg's Mark Wahlberg's two Transformers movies are disaster, really. They are not good movies, you know. This is going to be one of the special ones, so we'll pay attention to that as we go. I recognise the live action movies have done for Transformers as a franchise, though. I really do. So I'm appreciative of it because of that, but we needed more movies like Bumblebee, for certainly, and to a lesser extent, The Rise of the Beasts as well. Transformers 1 I liked, but it didn't do well. Obviously fully animated, but it was a solid step in the right direction. It really was. Anyway, this is going to be the last special one here. So I like the slow reveal on these. They always come at the same point in every pack, and you just kind of Ratchet. That's live action Ratchet. I do not have this card. This isn't the chase, so I'm not going to play those silly little sand foals or anything like that. That's not an unpleasant looking card to see, though, really. Ratchet wasn't a terrible character. Live action, he was okay. Like when he was killed at the beginning of, was it the fourth one? Age of Extinction or something? I think so. That was like, Jesus Christ, you know? Like, they were, you know, it was okay. Obviously not good that they slaughtered him like that, really. What is it with you humans? I mean, he wasn't wrong, really, was he? Always nice for me to get a card that, I mean, that one too, that I didn't have before. Okay, I'm going to open the promo pack here on camera as well. I've enjoyed talking about movies though, but it's going to be quick, really. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about stuff. If you've got any favourites, let me know what you like, you know, what your favourite. And if you think any movies I might like, let me know. Like, yeah, you probably would be surprised American President is on my list, but just, you know, I really like it. It's fantastic for me, really. The only bit I don't like in the American President is the reference to him being the leader of the free world. I don't care for that kind of American slant that they like to so often do. But that might be just a conversation for another time. I'm not real keen on that. That motif myself I do not like. A Decepticon this time, Starscream. These are the promo cards that you get, just in case you haven't seen them before. There's only 6, as you can see down the bottom left there. I've obviously had all 6 for some time. Okay, that's it for me talking movies. This has been good fun. Yeah, there's going to be more of these. In fact, there's going to be another 20 of them. Each one I will talk about something different. This has been great though. Look at that. You know, you get something special, they poured a lot more work into it. Get a BP, obviously the first box. Awkward. Lovely that though. Yeah, so let me know what your favourite movies are and if there's anything you think I might like. I'm not going to spoil. I won't spoil what I'm going to be talking about in the next episode. So it'll be a bit of a surprise. Like what want to hear what I have to say. Like what I have to say, look, that's up to you, of course. We all have our own opinion, that's fine, of course. You respect mine, I respect yours, we're all good. Alright, this has been episode 1 of Simon Talks Life, opening a box of Series 3 while talking about movies. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you for the next episode.